Hey gang, Sarah here. I'm here to give you a rundown on my February setup and also give you a little bit of a rundown for January. So you all know that I've been working on like my continuous improvement project, and this is where I just focus on different areas of my life throughout the year to help remove the chaos. So I just like build systems and processes or set goals, and that's over on my Patreon. So I'm going to give you a quick overview of how I did in January. So we'll go down and kind of look at my trackers, so some metrics to it. I'll also kind of set up my month and the schedule, what that looks like, and what else. I'll also kind of quickly go through my Gantt chart, which I love the Gantt chart because I swear that's like a great image of like all the balls in the air for my life. And really just some of the new trackers I'm going to do for February to add to it. So the trackers represent like different habits that I have to build in order to reach the overall goal, which is all about alignment this year. I want to work on aligning like my everyday behaviors with kind of what the goals are, right? Because this is how you build sustainable changes. So I'm just adding some new routines into the mix that I've established based on kind of my continuous improvement. So I'm really looking at the things that matter to me most. So I hope you like this kind of thing, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And also check out my link to my Patreon in my description if you're interested in joining. So talk to you soon. Bye, gang. All right, so we'll kind of go over the results for the month. So you all know I have been kind of tracking. Well, let's kind of start over here. So for 2025, my word is aligned because I'm trying to, my whole strategy for the year is to align the routines that I do or the things I do every day to support the overall goals. So with that being said, I started to utilize these trackers so I can kind of see how I'm coming in on these different routines that I have. So if I'm looking at my routines, and we'll kind of zoom it in here, I did not hit my targets, but I will say I started to identify some of the gaps of my targets. So I set my vitamins at 100% of the time because like that's not like a give or take thing. I want to take them 100% of the time, but I came in at 75% of the time I took them. Sleep, I came in at hitting my target 42% of the time. The target was 80%. Definitely, it's been a rough sleep month to say the least. Water, I failed miserably. No, I did not do well. But I also think like I wasn't counting my coffee and stuff, so I definitely need to get a little bit clearer on what counts as hydration. 5K steps a day. I came in at 70% on that. I wanted to hit 80. But what I did notice is that I set the target at 5,000. However, like my daily average is around 7,000. So I am going to up the goal this month. And then in box 0, I wanted to come in at 80%, and I came in at 55% of the time. And what I knew already and now have confirmed is that when I travel, I tend to fall off managing my emails, which, I mean, it makes sense because when I travel, I'm actually not sitting in meetings. I'm facilitating Kaizens and workshops and stuff. So it's not like I can sit in the back of the room and do it. So anyhow, I do know I have to be better about that. And then daily planning, I didn't actually set a target, but I came in at 41%. And my focus of the month was defining success for the year. So if I'm going over to kind of the goals for January, I did define success. So I'm just going to update these. I did 4 of the planning routines that I set forth. So these are all kind of part of my continuous improvement project. So things that I'm working on, small improvements that help me support the overall goal, which is over on my Patreon. I did not make 5K steps 80% of the time. I didn't hit my water, and I didn't take my vitamins 100% of the time. I've talked about this in one of my other videos that I don't think that this is the right measurement for the family metric here because I don't know that dinner 2 times a week is actually possible. But however, I don't think it's the right measurement because it doesn't, I'm more looking for quality time with the fam, and I definitely do think we're doing that. Didn't hit inbox 0. I did complete the X Matrix setup project. I made progress on this Cap 5 I'm working on, and I did my videos. This is something else. So I did move 4 projects this month to help kind of reduce the chaos in my life and my continuous improvement project. So good with that. To review my Gantt chart, so this is kind of showing, I feel like this is a view of my brain, to be honest. So these are all the things that are cluttering my brain on top of everything else that I'm managing throughout the day, but these are the projects part. So anyway, I did, again, just marked off what's complete, and it shows that I was heavily focused on kind of defining success. But like the things that aren't done they're not scheduled to be done, with the exception of this monthly and yearly planning. So I do have to figure that out. I'm not going to call it behind because it's not like it's a showstopper. I just know it'll help me. So that's kind of where I'm at for the results of January. So now I'm going to set up for the month of February. So for the month of February, I have a few things that I'm going to set up for. So I have the sticker. So over on my Patreon, these are downloadable blank templates you get. Different tier 1, but this just helps me kind of identify the stuff for the month. Actually, let's look at January's. Boop, boop. So yeah, and I just captured some of the highlights. I did get all my expense reports done on time for the month, so woohoo! And then I had to put together, well, I took over a project, so I just refined the approach a little bit differently to kind of my style of project management. I did my goals and objectives, and I got my X's complete. So those are some of the things that I'm doing. And then I did find out I was behind on a training thing that I was doing, so I did that. That was a little unplanned, and this is just this aligns with the Gantt chart. So anyway, so for February, I am working on a couple of things. A deep dive on my spend. So over my Patreon, I kind of walked through what that scope of that is. And I wanted to identify targets for emergency funds. And then I don't want to say create a budget. It's like revise and create, because I do already have one. And then I want to establish a takeout target. I don't know what that is yet, but I do know that I kind of want to get to no more than once a week at some point. I don't know that that's ever going to be feasible, but we've been like not really doing takeout a lot. So anyhow, so I do find that that was something that I want to add to my trackers. And then for my projects, I'm going, again, these are the 2 new ones I'm adding into the mix. And then I'm just adding to the weekly trackers. And the ones that I'm adding is bi-weekly expense report. So I want to do them like every other week, but always by the end of the month. Make dinner 80% of the time at home, and then no spend 80% of the time. Just to really kind of narrow in on my budget, where I'm spending money, and I guess who I'm spending money with. So that's the other element of the money project. All right, so I'm just going to get into doing my schedule. All right, hey gang. All right, so we're just getting into more of the schedule part of filling out my month, or figuring out my month. Down on the sidebar, I use that to identify the different things that I want to work on for each area of my life. Like, just like they're manageable chunks of work to meet the overall goals for the year. That's kind of how I use my sidebars in my weekly and monthly planning. So some of the things I'm working on, as you just saw, I set the goals for the month, but they're just some looking at the flow of the month. And so y'all know that for my continuous improvement project, it's all about money projects, and then health. I really need to ramp up that water thing from my tracker that's showing me that I am not trending in the right direction, if you will. And then so family time, I'm going to start measuring quality time versus dinner because dinner is just not the right metric. And then a couple things, Valentine's Day is coming up. So happy Valentine's to all my subscribers out there, my community. So thank you so much for all your support over the years. I know a lot of you are OGs and are still here. So thank you. And then putting in just some other goals. So work, things are definitely ramping up at work. I know the projects are starting to get kicked off, and I was just looking at my Gantt chart to see kind of what, that's just helping me understand the schedule really, because I don't want too many projects that are ramping up at the same time, which I definitely is seeing that's happening. But it's a lot because of the beginning of the year. But I also have to like future plan out my schedule for like Kaizens, things like that. So I do have to manage that, kind of like the level of effort I have to put into my work, so I'm not overwhelming myself, I guess. And also so I deliver quality work, frankly. Couple things going on. It doesn't appear that I have a lot of traveling this month so far, but I also kind of feel that I don't think that everybody has set their meetings up for the month still, because I'm not seeing a lot of like business meetings anywho. So I do have one trip this month, scheduled out the live stream for the Patreon, so check that out if you're into it. If you're into Patreon, we do a little bit more deep diving over there. And then I'm just scheduling in like my YouTube stuff is also in there. Again, as I was doing this, I'm like, I'm kind of feeling like the business leaders haven't set up their cadences yet, because I should have more monthly review meetings on my calendar. So what that is telling me is that my key customers, or like I support vice presidents in different functions, to help support their execution of a strategy. So what that is telling me is that they're slacking. No, they're not slacking, that they're still wrangling stuff. So, but I'm going to probably reach out to them and say, hey, let's get this on the calendar. Let's do this, right? Just because they obviously have so much going on and I want to just help support them. That's part of my job. So what are those processes that need to be improved to help you meet your overall strategy? So that's kind of what I do in a nutshell. So that's it, everyone. I hope you like this type of thing. I really take some time and set up your February schedule, because I will tell you, I swear one of the defaults of me having this channel is that it helps me stay on top of my stuff because I feel accountable to you all. So maybe I'll start a YouTube. No. So we'll talk soon. And again, thanks for all your support and have a great February. Bye, gang.